And first test, state and spell your name.
Dianna Ashcraft. Diana Ashcraft.
And you are what to the team?
I am Coach Ashcraft's wife.
Very good. She got it right, George.
Yeah.
You said she'd missed that one.
After 42 and a half years.
And we know who you are, I think, Coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, how do you feel about the 30 years that you spent with your husband coaching and participating with the team?
I've enjoyed every bit of it. I really have. From the time that he started playing and the years that he was on the board and still is on the board. And since he's been the head coach, it's been fun. A lot of fun. Met a lot of great people.
Does this time and effort spent on the team have any effect on your life and your relationship, either positive or negative?
I'd say it's a positive. I said he's always included me in everything. We've got to go to the American Football Hall of Fame. We've traveled with it, the team and stuff, and I've really enjoyed it.
You can look at me if you want to, but I can do it without laughing. Okay? All right. Do you contribute to the team organization? And in this way, say, I like to contribute to the team. I like to, all right? Can you start it out that way?
Yep. I like to contribute to the team. Actually, the whole family has. When he started coaching, our boys were water boys. Our daughters sold programs at the gates. Sandy, our daughter, used to design the program. We sat many nights putting the program together, stapling it. Our son Troy DJs, and we've all been a real family working together for the team.
Good. She always aces it, doesn't she?
Natural.
Yeah, you're pretty stiff over there, Coach. What's the matter? Any other time you're flailing all over the place. She got you wrapped up pretty good, doesn't she?
I'm looking for the football players.
Yeah, isn't that something? How out there he goes all over the place, and then right here, boy. Gotta move, not a move. Do you worry about your husband in any way when it comes to his coaching? How somehow, sometimes I worry, or sometimes I don't. Most times I don't worry.
Sometimes I worry mainly of the negative that can come about sometimes, but other than that, it's been a real positive time.
Your hair.
Oh, I might want me to cry.
No. Are you about ready to? Oh, yeah, we want to zoom in on that. What if the team loses a game or a season? How does that affect the coach on his personal level? How do you deal
Well,
with
as any coach,
Start again, sorry.
what do you want
I
me to say?
interrupted you. No, I just interrupted you.
As any coach would be, they get disappointed, but he's got a pretty positive attitude to keep on going to the next year and focusing on the future.
When there's a loss or the end of the season, do you feel the pain the same as he does?
I do. I do. I do.
Obviously, you're speechless. Try that again.
I do. I mean, it's sad when they lose. You always want to win the championship game. It's always sad, let down.
But even as far as, you put in as much time as he does, maybe not on the field, but involved in the whole organization. George, we're over here.
On Saturday mornings, whether she wants to, admit to it or not, okay, I'm going to help her out on some of this stuff because she's very humble like I am when it comes to the me thing. We just do it because we love it. It's been a part of our life since we got together 42 and a half years ago. But on Saturday mornings, on game day, that's a home game, about 9 o'clock, 9:30 after we've had some coffee, and I come down here to the fairgrounds to get game ready, putting up signs, get the locker room ready, whatever I do game day because I can't set the home. She's on the computer. She puts together the program for our announcer, so when all he does, he comes in, I hand him about 3-4 sheets of paper, and he can sit up there, and all he's got to do is read what's in front of him, and he sounds like he's a very, very intelligent man when it's always coming from my wife as the intelligent woman that writes the script because we talk about it all week. It's the truth, and she does that, and nobody knows that she puts in 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday morning doing that for me and for this football team so that we can sound like we got our stuff together, which we do because of her. She's done that my whole coaching career. She really has. All my paperwork, everything that we copy off probably on any given week 100 to 200 pieces of paper for different things, whether it be rosters and opposing teams tactics as they throw out on the web, and everything that you do, you got to have it in paper form, because that is what you can see and you can feel it, and then you can promote it type thing, and she does that for us.
So you're saying every time you're sounding smart, it's because of something she wrote for you?
Isn't that incredible that a woman is behind football as much as they are their marriage? And that's the way this has been for us. It's been a marriage of sorts, because like I said, I graduated from high school in 1973, and a day later I started playing red and black football as a player, and she was home with a 4-week-old baby. So yes, I can honestly truly say that she has been here every step of the way, and she's never told me I couldn't do it for myself. And in regards to that, that's why I've always included her in everything we do, because it's for us, it truly is a family thing, and that was, that nursery rhyme thing that started back in the 70s with the team about family and this and that. It's real.
So I bet you didn't know that you were carrying the freight all this way, did you? I know you carry a lot.
Thank you.
What do you do when all right, George has had some good seasons recently. What did you do when it wasn't so good to try to get him in the right frame of mind to, I know he's always passionate about it anyway, but what did you do to make it better? Anything? I mean, did you say, don't worry about it, George, just go get him again? I mean...
Oh, yeah, I've always been positive, too, as far as that goes, as far as, wanting my hair in my eyes again. Yeah, I feel I've always been pretty positive, too.
There's been times when I would go home from either a board meeting or from a practice. It was never a game situation that you'd say, this is going to be it type thing. But when she could see that coming, she would always say the right thing to me if I was in that mode to where this might be my last season. She would chuckle. Yeah, right, you're going to quit.
I always laugh because I always knew better.
To that positive part, that she knew that if the challenge was put back out there to me, or give me a reason. It's like I had to have a reason, because, boy, this sucked today type thing. And she would say, no. You gotta, that ain't you. and that would change my whole outlook going into the next day. And it works. And I can say this and mean it. She's been my motivation when I have a downtime. She has her certain ways of knowing it, and she says the right things that it gives me that extra oomph to come back in the next day and promote it back to the people that really need to hear it most. And that's the players themselves, This is all about them being recognized. Like I said, we sit here and we talk about the years that we have been doing this as a family. We're just giving back. We're giving an opportunity.
I think with the people, the guys, the families, the friends, the friendships, you've made through the years, it just makes it, you keep coming back to, because the friendships and the, it's just been a fun time.
Okay, hold on. Just want to change the angle a little bit. All right. He's threatened to quit, stop coaching. Have you ever thought of what it'd be like to be with him if he wasn't involved in football?
No, because I don't know any other way. We've been football since he graduated from high school. We've always been, together. And like I said, with the people that we've met and the friendships that we've made, we've had so many, we've been able to travel to Florida and to Chicago and to Canton, Ohio, and to be at the NFL Hall of Fame is absolutely the best. And I enjoy it. I've just met so many wonderful people, and I think I would be sad if he did quit.
Yeah?
I do.
So semi-pro football is a lot more than the scores on the field and all
that.
It is.
It is. It's a lot more than that. It's family. It's friendships.
How much, well, I think we already covered this. How much of your life revolves around semi-pro football? I mean, all right, we're in the middle of the season right now. Okay, the season's over. Does it stop?
Never.
No?
The season ends and starts right over for the next season.
What does your husband do once the season's over? How's that cycle go? You must know the cycle by now.
I don't know what to say to that. Just talk about the next year. I mean, your season ends and you think about it, it's a whole slew of holidays and fun times and families and get-togethers and Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so, you know, through those times, it's all family time. It's always family, though, because even on a Saturday night, the whole family's sitting up there with grandkids and all. But after the season's over, it's about, you know, the time of year for family and for friends and stuff. And then in January, it's like, let's get started.
Right. And
Let's start promoting.
In April, they do the American Cancer or Heart Walk.
Or we do the Heart Walk in April.
That's when it all starts. That's when the wheels start turning.
That's when it all starts. Yep. Like this Saturday's the Armed Forces Day Parade. And, you know.
Then we go to a player's wedding that he's played for me for 5 years, but he can't this year. He was a running back and a backup role to his own brother for 5 years. He might have carried the ball maybe 20 times in 5 seasons, and he's never complained. And he came to our first practice on a Saturday. He walked in the Heart Walk this year because he's always done it. And he called me up with his wife that's going to be this coming Saturday. He gets married. And he asked me if he could please do it. And I said, you can walk around on my sidelines on Saturday night. I want him to be a part of this. Just because he's working 3 to 11s now, because that's the job change that he's got. He wants to be here bad. He just can't put in the time on the practice field. And he's one of those young men that if he don't want to just suit up for the game and maybe get in the game and take it away from somebody that is actually practicing. Because I'd let him do that because he's put in, like I say, 5 full seasons and never missed a practice.
Right.
And that's the kind of camaraderie that this team has brought. And again, I'll say it, it's because of the professionalism we give back to them. It's a we thing.
Okay, I got one more. Let's see if we can do this right here. I think we had it right where we wanted it in there. All right. We've all seen George on the sidelines. Hands flailing, veins sticking out of his neck. He's all red-faced, and you know all the time and passion he puts into it. Do you ever worry about him in any way when it comes to his coaching?
How do you,
it doesn't bother me, or yeah, sometimes it bothers me, and then you can go on from there. How does it affect, you know, does his coaching ever bother you? Do you worry about it?
do you mean like health-wise, or do you mean like just...
However you perceive the question. What bothers you? It doesn't
bother me. I guess it doesn't bother me. His
then.
coaching on the side, it doesn't bother me.
All right, let me start it again. Do you worry about your husband in any way when it comes to coaching?
No, I don't. I don't worry about him coaching.
He's, you know, getting up in the years. He gets pretty passionate about his job. He wants to chase referees down the sidelines, you know, and he's got a lot of big guys around him. So there's nothing about this thing that bothers you a bit?
I'll say the one time I was worried is when at one of the games a brawl started out in the locker room from the other team, and I was worried that night that something bad was going to happen. And a few times in the past with some negative things that have happened, I worried about his health in some ways, yeah. But as far as his coaching on the sidelines, that never bothered me, no.
What are you saying, the coach's personality and during that brawl, you think you might have dove towards it or away from it?
You would have went after it.
I remember it well.
Team, did I say this? Team loses a game or a season. Does what effect does it have on a coach personally, on a personal level?
I already answered that, didn't I?
Did we do that one? Okay.
I think so.
Let me think. Is there anything else?
If you put in that about...
We've heard you mention several times about family. You've got a big role, not just supporting George, but you actually prepare paperwork and things for the game. George, of course, is always in it. Tell us about some of the other family members and kind of what their roles are.
Well, when George first started coaching, the boys used to be water boys. They were, what, 7 and 8?
Yeah, 8, 9.
8 and 9. They were the water boys, and our daughters, Sandy and Darby, they used to sell the programs at the gates and stuff. And then as the years went by and he became the head coach, Troy became DJ in the games, and Sandy did the programs. And we used to sit many nights on Friday nights at our table, stapling the programs together. Travis has been doing the season tickets for us the last few years, and it's just really nice. I mean, every Saturday night we're all here. The grandkids are all here. We have 5 grandchildren, and they're all here. And actually, when Troy couldn't DJ the games, our granddaughters and grandson Nathan and our granddaughters Jolie and Jenna and Jordan have taken over and DJ'd the games too. So it's just been a lot of fun.
So what I'm hearing is, yeah, it's a passion of George. It's a time consumer, George, but in the same token, if it wasn't for this, your family wouldn't be together as much as it is, would it?
Oh, yeah, we would.
Yeah.
We would, yeah. We're a very close family. We do a lot together, so yeah, we'd still be together.
But this is a way that your family can, you know, I guess, get together for a reason and still contribute to a central cause, that type of thing?
Yeah, right. With the grandchildren getting older now, and they have jobs, and it's like they call and they want to know what the schedule is. They want to know, make sure that they've got the games off and they can be here and stuff. And so, yeah,
George, pretty tough out on the field, but what do you got to say about the real boss here and the support she's given for you and the team?
I've told her many times, and I've told other forms of the press. I've said it at banquets. She's my number one fan. She's, like I said, been here every step of the way for 42 and a half years through this whole football thing that now is starting as our 120th season of the Watertown Red and Black. I'm proud to say that 1/4 of those years, my wife and I have been here. We've walked the walk, we've talked the talk, we've put money into the organization and helped out when they didn't have any, and it's her wages and my wages, and there's no dollar amount. We never wanted the payback type thing. It's always been, you know, if you needed a couple $100 for food for the guys at a game, we went to the supermarket and we got the rolls and the meats and stuff. We'd put them in a cooler on a Saturday for an away trip because guys got to eat. You know, the team didn't have no money. You know, and that's, you know, we dress for success. We, for the last 15 years, have probably been one of the best dressed teams that we play against type thing. You know, we don't go to somebody else's house and look bad. And that took a decade of arranging finances. And she's been right there. And I can say that and mean it, you know.
The red and black has been the standard in the semi-pro leagues for years.
Yep.
Can you say that the red and black would be at its point if it wasn't for all the support that she's offered over the years?
I could say this and mean it. When I came into this as a young man, I came in as a player. Players come and players go. Some are better than others. Some are more, you know, they're remembered because of the things that they do on the field at different positions. I don't know how long I would have lasted this if she hadn't have been my wife, because I do know through the process of life and marriage, a lot of players have went through marital problems. It's caused breakups, divorces, you know, boyfriends and girlfriends breaking up because it's just not
the time spent.
The time spent for any athlete that's an adult that isn't getting paid to be here. You know, if there was a paycheck at the end of this for these young men, you know, maybe the spouse would think differently. But it takes a lot, you know. When I played back in the early 70s, we practiced 5 nights a week. When the game started on Saturday, you cut back to 4 nights of practice, Monday through Friday. So then you got or Monday through Thursday, or you'd practice Tuesday through Friday, and Friday was a walkthrough, so it was easier. That was then. Tonight, we practice twice a week, games on Saturdays because of job schedules, and that puts quite a burden on, marriages and relationships in any regard. But she's never frayed from that, and I can say that again. She's been the bond that when if I had a down time and I thought this would be my last year because of just things that can happen that aren't a positive, because she'll attest to this, that I get up every morning no matter how I feel physically, and I try to just say it's a beautiful day and it could be a blizzard outside, and I'll get dressed in my clothes, go out and snow blow, you know what I mean, to the rainy days. And you say, well, we got to have rain and make the grass grow, and we want that field to look good, it's just stuff like that. She's always supported that belief. So
The players need the support, the tutoring, the mentoring of the coaches. Could they do it if the wives or the girlfriends didn't support them? I mean, the coaches can give you all you want on the field, but you really need the support of your other half.
Yeah, well, I tried to teach that, in some of these, come on, I am the head coach, but I'm their friend too. They talk to me, so to say.
You always talk about family.
Yeah, and
the
I
importance.
stress the idea that, if a guy comes to me and says, Coach, I can't come to practice Tuesday, my wife's got this or my kid's got that, I always say that comes first. You take care of that. Some of my best players, weddings, they won't miss their brother's or sister's wedding. They won't miss their parents' anniversary because that's the way life goes. I missed it all, and she's never complained about it.
Have you ever had you get a lot of young players, a lot of new girlfriends or whatever, you ever had to take them aside and explain to them kind of what it's like to be a football coach's or player's wife or spouse?
They'll ask me, how much time. Most of the people, they know, they come in, the wives, they know that we've always been together, we've always worked at it together. None of them really ever ask me any questions. If they don't like it, they stay away. And if they do like it, they're right here and we're all sitting together. So,
I guess basically it's by example. This is how you do it.
So that's just the way,
Anything you want to add? Anything you want to say about, the whole thing?
I don't think so. Is there anything?
For me, it's a big party. It's something that's kept us younger. I could say that I really, I don't have the spring in my step I had, of course, 40 years ago, 20 years ago. But, still at the age of 60 years, I'll be 60 in 3 weeks. I know that I get up every day, and I really do try to be that much better because of what I have become through this team.
It does keep us young apart.
The success that we have shared through this, it's been second to none for anybody that's ever done it. They understand. And, it was like the phone call that I got to make to one of my ex-ball players for this year's AFA Hall of Fame induction. When I made that phone call to that guy just a few days ago and told him he would be inducted for the 2015 season, he was so humbled, choked up, and I know how it feels, been there, and he came to practice last Thursday night, and we talked. He couldn't leave, and when it was all said and done, he said to me, yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to come down more often and just hang out and try to help out a little bit if I could, any way I could do till the high school season starts in August. And I gave him, the open door policy's always been there for any of my ex-players that still live in the area, that if they wanted to come down here, as long as it's in a positive mode, it's not to be disruptive or take away from what we do. But that's what we have always promoted before games, to get people to be a part of it. After the games, to go out with these young men and show them that they can still have a good time, and whether you're winning or losing. I heard you ask her about losing and how I would react. There's been some losses that if I didn't have the positives that she would put together on a Sunday, because I didn't sleep on Saturday night type thing, because I felt like, you know, you got honed out of something one way or another, and you're looking for a reason when that's not the way to look at the game. You got to go and you got to get the film, watch the film, except for the things that happen, and you got to change that. You got to change the way certain things happen, and you always got to react in a proper manner, even though it's human nature not to. I've learned over the years, you know, you were talking about that blue vein that sticks out of the back of my neck once in a while. That's part of being alive. That's the reason I keep coming back. I got a real nice picture at the house with about 12 by 12 inch pictures of me talking with certain officials that my kid gave me for Christmas about 5 years ago, and I cried like a little baby when he handed it to me, because boy, it brought back memories, you know. And again, that's why I do this, and I'd rather take it out on a Saturday night at a football game than ever going home from what would be a bad day to most people and scream at my wife. Save it for Saturday night and yell at the football game in a positive manner. I mean, I've learned because of our relationship, and she has taught me how to be a better person for our whole 40 years of being together, right? I do that now on Saturday night to officials. I call them sir. And they respond to that. And I even learned to smile more often, even though it may not appear that way. It's because of the mustache, I think, because it covers up the smile that I've usually got on my face. But it's that family thing that we've been talking about that brings it all together.
One last question. You mentioned the induction into the Hall of Fame, and one of the highlights for these guys at the semi-pro level is, and it's just been recently over the last few years enabled, is that they actually get their Hall of Fame induction at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now that's another family down the road. Tell us a little bit about that kind of a thing, seeing these guys getting their awards at there.
Oh my, that is just awesome. Again, with the time spent with semi-pro football, we've been able to do the American Football Hall of Fame. And there's just been so many people that we've met, and just wonderful people. And to know that I've watched these guys on the football field, and they've achieved all of these honors, and then to see them up there, stand up there, and tears, and their family just so proud, and it's just awesome. It's just been wonderful.
You've known a gentleman that's been involved in EFL quite a while. His name's Dave Birch.
I know Dave.
He's one of the ones that has made it possible to be at the Hall of Fame. Tell us what he means to you in the league, if you could.
Oh, Dave Birch to me? Oh, Dave's been a great friend, great guy, super guy. He's worked hard. Ron Reel was the president of the American Football Association, and he passed away, and Dave took over as the president. And one of Ron Reel's goals was to get the AFA into the NFL Hall of Fame, and Dave worked at it, and now this is the fourth year that we'll be in the Canton in the NFL Hall of Fame with a semi-pro American Football Hall of Fame banquet.
And you know, speaking of the Hall of Fame, the Watertown Red and Black's the only semi-pro team that had anything in any of the display cases down at the Hall of Fame. What did that mean to you and your family to have something that substantial?
That was an honor. The first time I went down to see it, that was when you were inducted, right? Mm-hmm. And so the banquet wasn't held at the NFL Hall of Fame, but it was held in Canton, Ohio. And so we went to the NFL Hall of Fame, and to walk in and see that, and there's been many pictures of George standing next to that, and they've kidded and said, "Boy, Coach, you look good for coaching that many years." And it's just an honor. It's just a real honor, and it's no longer in the Hall of Fame, and that's sad. Kind of miss that. I wish they'd put it back, but it's in their archives, they said, so.
It's going to appear again.
I'm sure it is.
They renovated. It's beautiful. As you walk in, and it's more modern for today's taste. But they assured me a year ago when I asked that they don't ever get rid of anything that's been there. They just find another place for it. So they're working on another wing or something. So maybe someday we'll see that showcase back out down there somewhere. And I hope we do, because it does mean a lot to this area. Again, we're just a blue collar network up here. We don't have a whole lot of big business, and to still perform for this and make it happen, it's just a tradition that my dad passed away this year, and he said the one thing back last summer that I will carry the rest of my life. He never seen me play, never seen me coach, but he said to me back in August, and he wasn't in failing health at that time. He was 86 years old, but he said to me, they'll talk about you for the next 100 years for what you've done with that football team. And that, to me, was one of those things that you get told about 20 years later. I had the opportunity to be sitting with him in his living room when he said that to me. I was so proud. Because even though he never watched me when I was a player or a coach, he followed it, and he knew he's got enough in him to say they'll talk about this for the next 100 years. That's another reason that'll keep you coming back. Things like that you never expect it.
I got one more question. You've seen this team go up, down, around, sideways, financial, this, that. What has he done? Of course, you both have done, because if he's doing it, you're doing it. What has he done to keep this long tradition? Because there are no traditions as long as this, even close. And there's been a lot of close circumstances that could have broke it. What has he done to keep this thing going?
Stayed positive. He just stayed positive. Just the desire to keep it going. The tradition continues, and somebody's got to do it. And so it just, his passion and his love for it.
It was really close a couple times, wasn't it? What was he like when it was really close to maybe not making it through the next season? Because that's all it takes, is one break in the chain and the mystique and all that. So it was very important to keep it continuous.
It was challenging. He's probably one of the best people at overcoming obstacles, and it was very challenging, and he's positive, and he just wanted to keep it going.
And what's the status of the team right now? If you were to take and give us an overview on the condition, the health, and everything, how would you say it is now?
As far as financially, or just
overall, just the attitudes, the people, the status
I think
of the league?
I think it's really positive this year. I think a lot of positive players are coming out, and he's got 3 or 4 good friends that are helping him now, and at the games and stuff, and they're keeping him going because they don't want to quit, because they want something to do. And without Steve Weed and Steve Hall, and they've been awesome too.
We won a championship about 5 years ago. First one in quite a while. Like you said, he's getting 60 years old. So am I. What do you think it'd mean if they could pull one off? Because they do have some players that came out for almost a last hurrah type thing. What do you think it'd mean if they could pull a championship out this year?
Oh my gosh, that'd be the best. That would be great. That would just...
What's it like at home when you win a championship?
It's awesome. Awesome.
That's it.
I don't know. What do you